What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Scrap Trawlers channel, where we do EDH on a budget. I'm your host, Andy Zupke. With me, as always, is this handsome guy up here, Nick Martin.
It's me with less hair. How we doing, Andy?
Good. I'm not looking as good as you with that fancy new haircut. Look at you, styling,
Profiling.
Yeah, you looking good, man. Looking good. So, what are we doing today besides talking about Mortal Kombat and 90s era Pizza Hut?
Today we're wasn't expecting that. We are talking about the top 10 cards from C21 that make us smile. Not necessarily the best ones, but the ones that work our face muscles.
Mm-hmm. Yep, these are just the cards that we looked at in the previews and go, that makes me happy. Whether it's because they're good, or because their art is funny, or they got puns in the name, whatever. Whatever makes us happy, that's what we're going to talk about. The cards that make us happy. Let's get started with my number 10. There we go. We got Guillaume, Master Chef. And yes, that is how I'm going to pronounce it. Kind of like the Latin name, Guillaume. That's how I'm pronouncing it. So Guillaume is a black and green legend, 5/3 troll warlock with trample. At the beginning of your end step, create a number of food tokens equal to the number of non-token creatures you had enter the battlefield under your control this turn. And you can pay 1 to sacrifice a food. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn. Tap it. Tap it, tap it, tap it. I like this commander a lot. I like what you can do with all the food tokens entering the battlefield. But mostly, I just really like the flavor of this guy. It's we've got our first hey, there you go. We've got our first legendary chef, and he's pretty sweet. He's got a big body on him, 5'3". That's pretty good for a chef.
Yeah, that's the troll in him, I think.
Yeah, must be. And for 4 mana, this does a lot. It is really good. It's a good card.
Yeah. Speaking of the flavor, I'm also with you on that. Steve Prescott, fantastic art aside, every time Guillaume brings friends over, he wants to feed them, so he brings over some food. And then you can force feed your friends, and you can make them full and tap them.
Yeah, nice.
And food makes you stronger, so you're indestructible. That's
why I eat a lot.
That's correct. Every time you go to 90s era Pizza Hut buffet.
it's making you indestructible. Indestructible.
That's right.
All right.
But yeah, I played this. I played a couple games with the Bloom Precon. One with I forget her name, Willow Dusk, and one with Guillaume at the helm. The deck's not really, at least the couple games I played, it's not really equipped to play Guillaume as the face, just because you want a lot of creatures in the deck.
Yeah.
But you can do this weird green-black mid-range aggro thing, and all your creatures are going to be gonna not die for the most part, since you're gonna have food to sacrifice.
Yeah, it's cool. I dig it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have really upped the power on this one and said any creature, not non-token creatures. I mean, if you get food for all of your tokens entering too, that would be crazy.
Oof, yeah.
I would very much like that. But as it is, it's very cool.
Pot. Cool. What is it? The little gingerbread man, you can just throw them in the pot. Ginger brew, that's what it is.
Ginger brew, yep.
It's a food.
It is. All right, should we look at your number 10?
Yeah. So, my number 10, no surprise, is Witch's Clinic. It's a land, adds colorless, good for your Eldrazi folk, and you can pay 2 and tap it to give target commander lifelink until end of turn. So yeah, I like it because it has witches on it, but also just a good land. Any type, you can just put this in every commander deck now, right?
This can go in any deck.
Yeah, any commander can just have lifelink now. It's sweet. Where it's really good, of course, things that care about life gain, like Aloro and all of that stuff. Also things that care about life loss, like Greven Predator Captain. So that one is, you get XO, where X is the amount of life you've lost this turn, but if you give him lifelink, you just kind of gain it all back to, do more life loss things the next turn.
Mm-hmm.
Also, just really stupid with veto, so I can expect this card to be a little more expensive for all those reasons. But...
yeah, it's surprisingly not too expensive right now. Like I feel like I should pick a few up because I think this one's gonna go up because it can literally go in any deck. It can go in any deck and
give Traxos lifelink.
Yeah, I don't know. Traxos might not survive. Some of these Lorehold legends are just like make me want to move my artifact deck into colors.
Oh, you mean survive as in you might take it apart? That's...
Yeah, I know. But it never wins.
We were talking about it for a little bit.
It never wins. I think that game I played with you at Command Fest was like one of the 2 games that Traxos has won.
Oh, jeez.
So it never wins. Because there's no colors, it's so hard to interact, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm thinking my Traxos deck probably won't survive. But one other thing I like about Witch's Clinic is that you can target any commander. So you can play the politics game or drop a Tainted Remedy and make them lose some life if they swing at you with their commander.
Yeah, I mean, good for aggro too, right? Put it on Gulta, put it on, I don't know, that Flying Jun Dragon that sacrifices kobolds. There's so many commanders now, I don't know what they do. But it doesn't matter because you can put Witch's Clinic into all of those commander decks, even if you don't remember who your commander is. So yeah, it makes me happy.
Yeah, it's a good one. This is a really good card.
Prosh, thank you.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yes,
that's the stuff.
Yeah, I think pick these up because I don't think they're going to be staying cheap. That's my opinion. And I'm never good at guessing things, so probably don't pick it up. Number 9. My number 9 is the face commander of the Lorehold deck. It is Ozgear the Reconstructor. So this is a red and white legend. It's a 4/4 giant Artificer. I love Artificers. 4/4 with vigilance. Pay 1. Sacrifice an artifact. Target creature you control gets +2/+0 until end of turn. That's not the exciting part. Here's the exciting part. You pay X, exile an artifact card with mana value X from your graveyard. Create 2 tokens that are copies of the exiled card. Exile, activate only as a sorcery. So you can just double all your mana rocks.
Yes, you can.
And that's just like the tip of the iceberg, really. Double your blight steals, your worm coil engines.
Can't exactly double your blight steal.
Why not? Because it's too expensive.
Sorcery.
Yeah.
So when it hits the graveyard, its triggered ability is going to go.
Oh, that's right, because that gets shuffled into your graveyard. That's into your library. That's right.
From Kaladesh, the 10/10 that gets cheaper for all your artifacts that are on play.
Yeah, the Mycosynth Golem.
That thing, yeah, you can just make a ton of those. So this weekend, I got to play Ozgear, and then the next turn, play a Soul Ring, tap it for 2 mana, sacrifice it to make Ozgear bigger, and then use Ozgear to make 2 more Soul Rings. It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And then you gotta have Karn, the War of the Spark Karn in your deck, which allows you to bring artifacts back from exile for its -2 ability.
Ew. Oh, that's really good.
Yeah. I like it a lot. This is a good card. It is. I think they gave Boros one of the better legends in the whole set, I think.
I agree. I also enjoy that fact it's a giant something, because having giant in front of what it is always makes it better. It's a giant artificer.
Yeah, of course. I agree. All right, moving on to your number 9.
Right. We got what I'm calling Infestation, because that would have been like the better, like that's a missed opportunity, right?
It's a missed opportunity.
Come on, guy. All right, so X green sorcery, destroy up to X target artifacts and/or enchantments, and you get twice that many little pest creature tokens with when they die, you gain a life. So I just like the art on this thing. It's just like a bunch of little caterpillars eating this scroll that's like 1,000,000 years old, and they're like, "Ah, this sucks. This is awful. Who could let this happen?" And no one's looking at Witherbloom because it's obviously them.
It's their fault. messing around with all the pests.
Yeah, but yeah, this is good for any green decks that care about tokens, care about aristocrats. It doesn't matter that the tokens are black and green. You can still play this in anything that plays green. Anything that cares about life gain too.
Yeah. I think a lot of aristocrats decks might be looking at this. A lot of Abzan aristocrats, Golgari.
Yeah, I know Mike Coyle is excited about this one because he plays Gremlin Invasion, which does kind of the same thing for only artifacts, but you get 2/2s.
Mm-hmm. This is it's not cheap to cast though. You got to pay double X, but you get twice. But you get the amount of tokens for the mana you paid into it, but only half the artifact and enchantment destruction. So.
Yeah, so if you look at it as like just a naturalize that costs 3 mana, but it also gets you 2 tokens. Like if you just look at it for that way,
yeah, it's
not that bad. And then if you need to go bigger, you can. So I was pretty impressed with this when I played it over the weekend.
Cool. All right, my number 8, Surge to Victory. I love this card. All right, it's good. It's very good. Surge of Victory, 4 red for a sorcery. Exile target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard. Creatures you control get +X/+0 until end of turn, where X is that card's mana value. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player this turn, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost.
Yeah, Chris Von Doom and chat. What's going on, Chris?
Hey, Chris. This card is kind of insane in any red go wide deck.
It sure is, Andy. It sure is.
It's insane. Kaikar is gonna like this. Locust God. Yep. So what do you think is the pinnacle of what this card can do? What instant or sorcery are you hoping to exile with this card to make a ton of copies of?
So I already did it over the weekend, and it's straight out of the pre-con. So I got to cast Surge to Victory, exiling Dig Through Time, which gives all your creatures +A/+0, and you just dig through time every time somebody connects. And in that pre-con, everything's already a 4/4. So they're all 12/4s. They don't have evasion, but it doesn't matter. You're probably just killing your opponent at that point, which is fine.
Wow.
It's that card is stupid fun. Like, even if you just get like a brainstorm, if you have like a ton of draw triggers, like in the Locust God, every little insect is gonna get like 1 bigger, but you're gonna make 3 more insects for everyone that connects. It's really good.
Yeah. This card's fantastic. I love it. I can't wait to play it. I'm excited.
It's a good time.
And it's cheap. It's only it's less than $1 right now.
It is a budget staple now. I'm calling it.
Okay. Yeah, might order a few more. Okay, let's move on to your number 8.
I also have a red card. It is Audacious Reshapers. The audacity. You get a 3/3 for 3 human artificer. You can tap, sacrifice an artifact, and reveal until you hit another artifact. And you put that card onto the battlefield, rest on the bottom, yada yada. And then Reshapers deals damage to you equal to the number of cards revealed this way. So this is... it's the red Shape-Anew on a stick. I forgot what the card is called. It's sometimes played in Modern to get Blightsteel Colossus.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you could just do this every turn, which is really nice. It's a sacrifice outlet for your artifacts. Sometimes you want that, but it could be anything. It could literally be a boat now because we got boats in Call Time.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Meme jokes aside, this is super nice. You can get rid of the. So if you're making a ton of treasures or clues or whatnot, you don't need them anymore. You just pitch one, get an actual maybe get a live card. You can sacrifice things like your Mycosynth Wellspring, your Ichor Wellspring, get free value off of that, take a little bit of damage, which is fine. I like this card.
Sacrifice your Ugin's Nexus, take an extra turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a very fun card. I mean, you never know what you're gonna get. I mean, obviously you're probably playing a lot of artifacts, or you're playing just one artifact that you really really want because it's gonna be an instant kill.
As long as you don't die.
As long as as long as the damage doesn't kill you. But you can get around that with cards that say prevent all non-combat damage, right?
Yeah, the dream with this, at least in Modern, if you don't hit your Blightsteel Colossus, you can always get Platinum Empyrean. So it comes into play, and then it tries to deal damage to you, but your life total can't change, so you're fine.
Nice. That's a cool card. What's up, EK? Thanks for joining us.
Hello, hello. All right, cool. So yeah, that is my number 8. What do you got for your number 7, Andy?
Number 7, Rihanna, Fire Dancer. Rihanna is a 3/4 human wizard for 3 red. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create X tokens that are copies of another target creature you control, where X is 1 plus the number of instant and sorcery spells you've cast this turn. To gain haste, exile them at the beginning of the next end step. This card makes me very happy. There's so much fun stuff that you can copy with this. I mean, you're probably playing mono red, so yeah, obviously that limits your options. I mean, I think like probably the biggest thing that people are going to want to do with this is copy their Dockside Extortionists. Make a ton of treasures.
For their combat celebrants to take infinite combats.
There you go. Yep. Port Razor.
Oh yeah.
That kind of stuff. Infinite combats are pretty good. Inferno Titan. Just deal a bunch of damage.
Ooh. I like that. So, here's a little something, Andy. So Prismari are like theater kids?
Yeah.
You know who else are theater kids in the multiverse? Rakdos. And Riona's going to Rakdos right after college. I mean, she's holding like 2 knives that are on fire. That's not safe. Come on.
Yeah,
what are you doing?
She's ready to start playing with the drill bits, right?
Oh, gee. All right. I think we get the point.
Yeah. Nerd jokes.
But yeah, you can also play this in like in the 99, right? I know it seems like Brutaclad is being talked about almost every day, and I would probably put this in a Brutaclad deck. Sure. Even if you don't have any instant or sorceries to cast, it's going to get you that extra token you want, and then you can make all your tokens into that one thing if you stack your triggers correctly. I think. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah, totally. Because that's at the beginning of combat trigger as well, right? Brutaclad?
Yeah, but then you get to exile them all. But if it's really good, it's not going to matter.
Yeah. I love it. It's I think I kind of want to build this. See what I can do with it.
Yeah, she's cool.
Yeah. EK says I've heard a lot of talk of this with Bergie. So Bergie is that legend from Kaldheim that whenever you cast a spell, you get a red mana. I like Bergie a lot. I've been really wanting to build a mono red deck lately, and I've been kind of going back and forth between Bergie and this on which one I want to build, because they're both really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. Anyway, ready to move on to your number 7?
Yeah, my number 7. It's another red card. We got 4 red cards in a row.
There's a lot of good red cards in this set.
Yeah, red got a lot of good stuff. So we get Cursed Mirror, which I know is it's a hot topic on Twitter right now. So it's 2 in a red for an artifact. It's mana rock, adds red. But as it enters the battlefield, not when, you may have it become a copy of any creature on the battlefield until end of turn, except it gains haste. So this acts kind of like a clone. It will trigger ETBs itself.
Yeah.
It's not enter the battlefield. It's an as thing. I know I'm right on this one. Look it up. Bet. Anyway.
No, you're right.
This is great. I mean, I like what Wizards is doing lately, giving mana rocks to us that do more than just hat for mana. I mean, In Eldraine, we got the Midnight Clock, which is the blue version, which just lets you draw 7 later on, which is super nice. This one, you get the best creature on the board, whether that's, one of yours or your opponent casts an Ulamog or whatnot. Now you have an Ulamog with haste, and you just kill them.
Unless the best creature on the board is a legend on your side, in which case you can't do that.
Right.
Because then it'll just die.
But this is going to lead to some very swingy plays. For 3 mana, it's awesome. And I like the art because, like, the dude's just getting... Or the person, I should say, is just getting, like, choked by the mirror.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Reminds me of the movie Evil Dead 2. Have you ever seen that?
I've seen the first one. I haven't seen the second one.
Yeah, there's a scene in Evil Dead 2 where he's looking in the mirror at his reflection. All of a sudden, his reflection like reaches out and grabs him by the shoulders and starts choking him.
Oh, jeez.
It's awesome. I'm a big Evil Dead fan. Love him. That definitely reminds me of that. Yeah, this reminds me of Mirage Mirror in a little bit. But obviously where this one-ups Mirage Mirror is that you get those ETB triggers if you got an ETB creature. And you can only do it for the turn it comes in. But still, this is a really good card. I think. I mean, I don't normally play 3 mana, give you 1 mana rocks, but when it's got this awesome ability on it, makes sense.
Yeah, and this is your PSA. Pay more attention to 3 mana rocks. I mean, everybody's on, the 2 mana train. Like, come on. There's a lot of cool stuff at 3 mana, like this thing. If you're not, looking at this, you're missing out. Free real estate.
Yeah. Let's see.
All right, do we have another red card coming up?
No.
Oh, it's over. Sorry, folks.
We're ending the streak here. So my number 6 is a blue card, Muse Vortex. That's the sound it makes. X blue for a sorcery. Exile the top X cards of your library. You may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value X or less from among them without paying its mana cost. Then put the exiled instant or sorcery cards that weren't cast this way into your hand, and the rest on the bottom of the library in a random order. So those cards don't go away, they go to your hand.
Yep.
That's amazing. Most spells would be like, nah, you get one, buddy, and like it. But this one's like, well, you get to cast one, and then you can have the rest later. That's cool. I like leftovers.
Yeah, so this isn't exactly like Epic Experiment, because Epic Experiment puts everything you don't cast in the graveyard, and you don't get to cast more than one. But this is way more blue than Epic Experiment, obviously, because it's, red-blue. Mm-hmm. The fact that he just gets to draw you the rest of the cards is really, really nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this can go in a lot of Spellslinger decks. Really liking this for the new Prismari Elder Dragon. You're going to be making a lot of mana with that deck, so you're going to be able to make X for pretty big, I think.
Yeah.
Get a lot of stuff in your hand to cast later. It's a good card. I'm excited about this one.
I did not get to cast it over the weekend, but I want to.
Good. I'm glad you have that desire. Let's move on to Nick's number 6. Hey, people in chat. Once we're all done with our top 10, why don't you let us know what cards you are most excited about? Cards that made you smile from Commander 2021. Tell us at the end here, and we'll bring them up on the screen, and we'll talk about them.
And while you're doing that, you can also talk about 90s Pizza Hut.
90s Pizza Hut.
I'm
the
not gonna let it
arcade
go.
games.
I miss it.
Yeah, I mean, that was part of my childhood as well. The arcade games.
The breadsticks too. What happened to 90s Pizza Hut, chat? What happened?
We
going, and then the economy crashed, and Pizza Hut just decided to stop caring. I don't know.
Yeah. I blame George.
Anyway,
George
for my
Bush.
next card.
All right, here's your number 6.
Okay, we got Niels, Discipline Enforcer. Not illustrated by Niels Hom. It is a human cleric 2/2 for 2 and a white. At the beginning of your end step, for each player, put a 1/1 counter on up to one target creature that player controls. And then, each creature with one or more counters on it cannot attack you or planeswalkers you control, unless they pay X, where X is the number of counters on that creature. This might be the first mono white commander I've built since original Heliod. I'm not a huge fan of mono white, but this card is sick.
Yeah.
It plays politics. It's a pillow fort on a stick. It lets your opponents like creatures get bigger so they can attack into each other. It's fun. And if they decide to attack you, like you just kind of like slap them in the face, like insubordination, because you make them pay like a bunch of mana. It's super flavorful too. I love it.
Yes, Knight of Bawa, there are plenty of fans of mono white and EDH. I am actually also a big fan of this card. I think it's a lot of fun. I think it does something really unique that we haven't really seen. The only problem is then if your opponent kills this and you've made other creatures bigger, then you got then it gets a little scary.
That's half the fun.
That's half the fun is dying.
Well, I mean, you're gonna have 4 mana open, so you can settle the wreckage. So I mean, there's ways you can get around that. Not that you're always gonna have settle the wreckage, but yeah, it's risky and it's fun.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think this is a superbly designed commander. I'm a big fan. Does some very cool, interesting stuff. All right.
Yeah.
All right, we are now halfway through. Let's move on to my number 5. Alibou, Ancient Witness. 3 red white for a 4/5 golem. Other artifact creatures you control have haste. Neat. Whenever one or more artifact creatures you control attack, Alibou, Ancient Witness deals X damage to any target and you scry X, where X is the number of tapped artifacts you control. That is so cool.
It does a lot of damage.
Yeah, because it's not just your creatures, it's all your artifacts.
Yeah, found that out over the weekend. If you happen to tap 5 mana rocks to cast Alibou, you are taking 5 damage. And you get to scry 5. It's really good. This card is super sweet.
Yeah, it's so... I think... So I definitely want to build a new artifact deck, but there's so many great options, and this is obviously one of them. So I'm torn between this, Ozgear, and...
Jorkadine?
No, that's not new.
But nobody likes Jorkadine.
I also like the mono white one in this deck, the Law Shield, the one that makes your artifact creatures don't take damage when they attack.
The Lady Elephant.
Yeah, I like that one a lot too. But this might be the one that I build. This might be what I sacrifice Traxos for. The Alibou.
I think it's a good choice. Yeah, she does a nice I don't know. They do a nice impression of Mirror Battlesphere. Commander budget favorite.
Yep.
But again, it's not, you don't have to tap any mirrors to do it. You just, if they're already tapped, you go to town.
Yep. And if you're running a lot of spells that aren't artifacts, you want to have Inspiring Statuary in there so you can tap your artifacts. All of your artifacts as mana rocks. This is a good card. They really did a lot of good stuff with the red-white commanders in this deck. Very happy.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with the precons, since we're on the subject of the set, having only 2 new ones, like they seem to focus way more on the 2 commanders than they have in the past. Like you could literally just put anyone on the front, and the deck's still going to work great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was an interesting change to move from having 3 options for your commander out of the box to 2 options. But maybe that does focus the deck a little bit better. I don't know.
Yeah.
I kind of like what they did last year too with the 2 regular commanders and then the partner commander, which both had part of the 3 colors. I like that option too. But
yeah.
Obviously that wouldn't work here. Although I kind of do wish that they had done the 2 monocolored legends as partners. But obviously they're not all like themed, so that would make sense. But anyway.
EDH Rec wants to know your location. They don't want any more partners.
No, oh yeah, that's true. Okay, let's move on to your number 5.
That's right. We are back with the Witches. We got Vayne Witch Coven. 2 and a black for a 3/3 Vampire Warlock. It has Menace, and whenever you gain life, you may pay black. If you do, Gravecrawler, or what is it, Gravedigger, a creature. It's great. I wish it had lifelink, but you can give it lifelink with, with anything, especially in black. So it's just a really, really nice card if you're doing anything with life gain. Like, if you're playing Veto, this is an easy way just to get your creatures back.
Yeah. I feel like it'd be easy to combo off with this.
I'm sure it is. I just can't think of.
So let's say you've got Phyrexian Altar, and you got a 0 mana creature. Let's say Ornithopter. You get this out, and you got like a Blood Artist or something like that. So you sacrifice Ornithopter for a black mana. Blood Artist triggers. You gain a life. Trigger Coven. Trigger the Vayne Witch. Pay that black mana to get Ornithopter back. Recast Ornithopter.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Combo.
There you go. End the game. Win-win.
Boom, 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 boom.
No, it's a cool card.
One thing I'm not sure about is... normally I talk up the art a lot. I think we might have an error here, unless you can tell me differently. That hand right in the bottom middle, is that supposed to be facing that way? Because the head on the person in the forefront, I can't tell if it's turning, looking behind the shoulder, or if the shoulders are actually,
It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like an Olivia Voldaren spoof, where it's like, this person has like a third leg, or there's an extra knee in there because vampires are weird. But
the way the hand is situated, the vampire would have to be facing away from us. But the way the head is situated, it's like the heads don't turn that way.
Yeah, if that's the back column, that makes sense. But it doesn't.
But there's
the fact that I can't tell makes me question it.
Yeah, the way the head is turned, that's not normal. So yeah, no, that's right. That's weird. I never look at art that closely. Unfortunately, I should.
It makes me smile.
Good. As long as it makes you smile, that's what matters. Okay, let's move on.
All right.
Let's see, another commander here. So this was on my list and not yours. Surprise, surprise. Although, did you not put it on because I put it on?
I didn't, because you had it on there, and we need to talk about this card. So you do the thing first, and I'll tell you about it.
Okay. So this is my number 4, Veyron, Voice of Duality. A 2/2 Efreet Wizard for 1 blue-red. Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1 its all end of turn. Well, alright, that's fine. That's it, right? That's the whole card?
That's it.
If you casting or copying an instant or sorcery spell causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. This is going to double all of your Magecraft triggers. But that's not all. That's not all it does.
That's not all it does.
That's not even the half of it. Anytime you cast an instant or sorcery that triggers anything, it's going to do it again. So, like Burgi, you're going to get an extra red mana if you cast an instant or sorcery. The spell doublers like Double Vision and Swarm Intelligence, those are going to get you an extra copy each when you cast an instant or sorcery.
Zephi.
Zephi is going to trigger again, yep. That's got the Magecraft ability. what else? What else? The things that make tokens, Murmuring Mystic and Talrand, those are going to give you double tokens. This card's broken. It's bonkers. It's insane.
So I had an experiment. It was an epic experiment, if you will. Over the weekend, Erin was playing this deck, and I'm like, she, fielded turn 3 Veyron. I'm like, I'm not gonna kill it. I want to see what happens. And I immediately regretted it the next turn. It was just double Zafai triggers, double metallurgic summoning triggers, double anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than Panharmonicon, I think. Because you don't have to do much to get this thing going. You can also just go infinite with, what is it? Reverberate, or like, if you double cast a Reverberate, you go infinite. Because you just target the Reverberate with the Reverberate. You can make Veyron as big as you need to,
mm-hmm.
and then you just swing in for a kill. Not classy, but it's effective.
Well, that's what we're here for, is to be classy, right?
That's right. We classist undertones here at Scrap Trawlers. We can't afford nice things, so we play Veyron.
What's up, MTG strategist? Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Appreciate it. Colin O'Clock, if I haven't said hi to you yet. Hello. Yep, so Colin said Panharmonicon for instants and sorceries. It basically was what it is, yeah.
It was also on the latest game nights.
Oh yeah, yep.
And Josh went off. That was glorious. Like, all right, so as the resident Izzet mage on the show, doing like a bunch of things only to result in nothing is exactly what you want to do, because that's what Izzet does. You don't even have to win the game. You just, take 20 minutes doing your turn, resulting in, like, I don't know, a token, and then you pass your turn. But it was cool.
I agree. This card is bonkers. I love it. Not much else to say. It's good. It's good.
It's real good.
All right, let's move on to your number 4.
All right, so another Prismari card. We have Reinterpret. For 2 red and a blue and a red. For an instant, counter target spell. You may cast a spell with an equal or lesser mana value from your hand without paying its mana cost. So, one thing you can do with this, you can actually target an uncounterable spell, and you'll still get the second part. Kind of funny. But this is nice, because you don't have to counter it as part of the clause. It just says counter target spell.
Okay.
And it doesn't say if you do, so you just get to do the second thing. If you target a big thing, you get your own big thing. It does not work that well with X spells. So if you're playing like Mizzix or anything like that, maybe you want to avoid this. But if you're not doing Mizzix things, you're just doing big dumb spell things, Reinterpret's your friend.
Yeah.
It could be anything. like Cursed Mirror, right? It's gonna lead to some really swingy plays, which is what I really like about EDH. What do you think about it?
So I'm actually not as high on this one as a lot of people are. And obviously you can tell it's popular because it's selling for like $6 right now.
Oh, wow.
So my issue with this one is that, well, it's 4 mana for a counterspell. That's a lot in general. I mean, we have more expensive counterspells than this, that do powerful things as well. But my problem with this is that you don't always have a great spell in your hand that you can cast off of it. And then you end up like trying to hold on to this to wait for, when you have a good spell in hand you can cast for free, and then you kind of end up trapping yourself in I'm just going to wait until I have something good so that, it does what it's supposed to, rather than countering the thing that you should have, even if you didn't have a good spell in hand to get for free off of it. That's kind of how I'm feeling on this. I'm sure it's going to do some crazy things in some games, but I think there's going to be a lot of games too where it's just you're not going to get something as amazing as you'd hope.
Yeah, I hear you. I mean, like the floor it's a 4 mana counterspell, which is not great. Um, but the ceiling is just, for lack of a better phrase, through the roof. There is no roof. The roof is on fire. Even if this was just, you cast this, counter a spell, put an arcane signet in play. I'd play that. If that's literally what it said, I'd do that. And this is better than that. It can be. So
I suppose, yeah. I'm sure risky. You're running a risk here, but I mean, it might be that I play a game with it and I do something really crazy and I'm like, oh wow, I love this card now. That could happen. I could see it happening.
Yeah, but I hear it. Is it efficient? Only if you get to do the cool thing. Otherwise, it's a 4 mana counterspell, as you said. It could be fun. I think that's the point.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Let's move on to my number 3. Promise of Loyalty. 4 white for sorcery. Each player puts a vow counter on a creature they control and sacrifices the rest. Each of those creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control for as long as it has a vow counter on it. I love this card.
It's so good.
It's so good. They're going to keep their best creatures, obviously, but they can't attack you with those best creatures ever again. For as long as, I mean, obviously, if it's their commander, if they can recast it, they can attack you again, but you're gold. You're gold for at least a few turns after you cast this. I think this is going to see play in a lot of Voltron decks.
Yes, because you're always afraid of a crackback.
Right. That is like the biggest thing with the Voltron decks, other than board wipes, is fear of the crackbacks from the token players or whatever. Mm-hmm. But with this, you're gold.
So when I first saw this card, I literally thought they were just going to do another Gatewatch, like Justice League Junior or something, whatever it's called, Teen Titans. They're not doing that, I guess. One thing I forgot to mention, this card is also really good in Neil's decks, because Neil's doesn't specify +1/+1 counters for the Ghost Quarter or the Ghostly Prison Clause. It's just number of counters.
Yep.
Put a vow counter on them. They still have to pay 1 to attack you, and even though they can't.
Yep, make them bigger, and they can start swinging at other people.
Yeah.
Nice if you if you're playing like a white deck, like a white-red deck with a goad mechanic. So you force those creatures to attack your opponents, like put one of those impetus cards on them or something, or play Disrupt Decorum like the turn after this.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that. I love this card. I'm very excited about this one.
Would you say it's better than Tragic Arrogance?
I guess I would say so, because Tragic Arrogance, you got to build around that. Like, because you lose a lot of stuff with Tragic Arrogance. You don't just lose your creatures. You lose pretty much most of your permanents, right?
Right, but with that one, you get to choose what everybody keeps.
It's true.
I don't know. This feels like a cleaner one of those, because if you're looking for like a creature board wipe, like when you're talking about board wipes in Commander, you're normally talking about getting rid of creatures.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can do like the Cleansing Nova thing to get rid of other stuff if you want, but you're usually talking about like a Blasphemous Act. I want to kill all creatures.
Yeah.
This, in that sense, I would choose this over Tragic Arrogance.
Yeah. I think one card I would compare this to, which this completely blows that out of the water, is the I think it's called Slash the Ranks, something like that.
Oh,
from
yeah.
Commander Legends, which people are not high on at all, which is destroy all creatures and planeswalkers except for commanders. It kind of does the same thing, if their commander is their best creature, that's what's going to happen, except this improves on that, obviously, by making it so that that creature they keep can't attack you. So...
Oh, thing in chat from MTG Strategist. You can use Nesting Grounds to move the vow counter off of one of your creatures onto another one of theirs with some proliferate, you could just make a Vow counter tribal. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're never attacking.
Do that. Yeah, for when they bring out another big creature, just move your counter over to that creature.
That's sweet.
Although when I read the card though, I don't think the Vow counter would stop them from attacking though, because it's not the Vow counter that stops them from attacking, is it? Because the card doesn't say creatures with Vow counters can't attack you. It just says each of those creatures can't attack you for as long as it has a Vow counter on it. So I don't think
it's specific to those creatures when the spell comes. Okay.
So I think I don't think if you were to put a Vow counter on a different creature that it would stop that creature from attacking you. At least that's how I'm reading it. I could be wrong.
No, I think you got it. Also, the flavor text, it's us against the world forever. It's us against my world. Oh boy.
All right, Promise of Loyalty. Excellent card. Let's move on to your number 3, huh?
Cool. We have... It's a red card.
Yeah,
Radiant Performer. I'm not even going to read what it is. It's Radiate on a stick. It's awesome. Radiate, if you don't know, it does kind of like the Zada thing, where if somebody casts a spell that targets one thing, you do that and it targets everything. Radiate does that. It also targets players. Radiate also does any target, right? This only does one or the other, so it's not exactly Radiate, but it's close enough. Radiate's like super expensive. I think it's like a $12 card, and this is probably like what, around $2-3?
50 cents.
Oh, right on. You should pick these up immediately. If this turns your Path of Exile into a board wipe, this turns somebody else's Path of Exile into a board wipe. If you're playing Zada, this is a slam dunk in it, because if you don't have Zada, this is another flash option for it. There's a lot of stuff you can do with this card. It's kind of gross.
Yeah, that's a lot to read. So when it enters, you copy a spell or ability that targets only a single permanent or player. Copy it for each other permanent or player it could target. So, I mean, whatever happens to one thing then happens to everything, right?
Yes. So if you were to cast, let's say you cast, what is it? Not Distortion Strike, Slip Through Space.
Yeah.
Which is 1 blue, make a target creature unblockable until end of turn, draw a card. That on the stack, you cast Radiant Performer. You're drawing a card for each creature on the battlefield, and all of your creatures are unblockable.
Yeah, that works. that's really good. Yeah, because I mean, obviously, unblockable doesn't help defenders, so that makes. I like that combo. That's really good.
Yeah, and there's tons of little like dumb cantrip spells you can do, like any of the I almost said Morrowind, the Morning Tide Wisp cards, that you just do something to a creature and you draw a card. Any of those things, like in Feather decks, this is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of those cards you want to cantrip anyway.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dumb stuff you can do with this card, and we like doing dumb stuff here.
Number 2, my number 2. Oh, I love this card. If this card was a legend, it would be my next deck, and I'd be so happy. But it is not. Sly Instigator, 3 and a blue for a 2/4 human wizard. Pay a blue, tap it. Until your next turn, target creature an opponent controls can't be blocked. Goad that creature. Okay, so you make a ton of blue mana. You get a freed from the real on this thing. You make a ton of blue mana. Just tap it or untap it and make all the puppets dance every single turn.
Oh my goodness. The flavor text is literally what you say at least once again. Like, I'm just an innocent bystander. I'm just here. Leave me alone.
This card is me. This card is me. It's me. I'm the Sly Instigator. Yep. I love it. I want it to be a legend so I can put it in the command zone, but it's not.
Secret Commander.
Yeah. I love this card. What about you?
I like effects like this.
Yeah.
It's a better version of what is it, Dulcet Sirens, that makes a creature attack, but now it doesn't have to attack you. Hey, Aaron. And
Hey, Aaron.
it's not good 1v1. Found that out. But if you're not doing 1v1 because you're playing real commander, this is sweet. I want to give it haste. Really want to give it haste.
Yeah. Yeah. Swiftfoot Boots is going to be best friends with this, in addition to Freed from the Real, obviously.
Oh,
Or
thank you for that,
Penn's
Aaron.
Aura.
Andy, how could you?
what? I changed
Our
my
title
title
is
before
wrong.
we started.
Well, I'm looking at it in Twitch right now, and it says you're a liar.
What? I totally changed it before we started.
Did you hit confirm order?
Dang it.
I was disappointed when Zach. Hey, hold on a second. Colin's here.
I totally updated that. Man. Twitch, being a jerk. No board game night for you. ZemTG Strategist was disappointed when Zach and Colin weren't here. That's the only reason they showed up. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I totally updated it. I don't know why it didn't take. Anyway.
Don't look at me. I'm just an innocent bystander.
Yeah, I'm just glad I tricked at least one person into coming here who didn't want to be here.
Got him.
Got him. You're stuck now. It's not the first time I went looking for a Zach and got an Andy. Ouch. Andy's.
I think it's a
good too.
compliment.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right.
I don't know.
Sly Instigator. Love it. It's so fun. The art is. He's even doing
such a jerk.
He's even doing my eyebrow thing. Like, yeah.
You're like, like the people in the background, like, it wasn't me, I swear.
I don't know what happened.
I just punched that dude in the face. Which, okay, it's really weird, right? This is not a blue card in Strixhaven. This is a silver quill card. Why it's in blue, I don't know. But this is totally a silver quill card.
Maybe.
Oh boy.
Let's move on to your number 2.
Speaking of creatures that you want to make unblockable, for me, because you're my friend, we have Spawning Kraken. 6/6/4/6. Whenever a Kraken, Leviathan, Octopus, or Serpent you control deals combat damage to a player, you get a 9/9 Kraken. This card is amazing for all of you sea creature tribal fans out there, like me.
Mm-hmm.
I love this card so much. You combine that with the themed booster rare from Theros Beyond Death, which is Serpent of Yawning Depths. You just make everything like of that type unblockable, and you're going. You don't even need that many to just get going. It's like a blue giant Adaphage.
Yeah. What is it? Whelming? Is it Whelming Wave that puts everything back in their hands except like Octopus and
Except this stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, and you just go.
Yeah. I know you're excited about this card.
I love this card so much.
So what is your sea creature deck? Is that a Rixmathes or is it something else?
It is a Rixmathes, but it's actually just based off the Kiora Duels of the Planeswalkers deck from like Duels 2012, I think. But anyway, it's basically just sea creature tribal deck.
Mm-hmm.
This has to go in it. This is a staple in sea creature tribal. Like, sea creature in Simic is probably like the most socially acceptable version of Simic, in my opinion. Would you agree?
Sure. Yeah.
Because you know what you're doing, right? You're not gonna draw a million cards. You'll draw some.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have big creatures, but they're all kind of dumb, like this. They don't have like natural evasion. They're just kind of dumb Krakens, Leviathans. Sometimes they'll tap things down, I guess. But it's fun. This is a Timmy card.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't have a deck for this, but I'm glad that both of our number 2 picks were totally just define us as players. You know.
Yes, these are for us. Nobody else. These are our cards. We called Wizards. Said, hey, I want more Krakens. Like, all right, we got it.
Give me more Kraken.
Let's get Kraken.
All right. Are we ready for number 1?
I'm ready for number 1.
Sweet. And my number 1 is Ink Shield. 3 white-black for an instant. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to you this turn. Alright, 5 mana for a fog is not very efficient. That's fine. For each 1 damage prevented this way, create a 2/1 white and black Inkling creature token with flying. This... You're going to get so many tokens off of this. I can't tell you...
this card.
I can't tell you the last time in a game that I wasn't attacked for like 20 or more damage in 1 turn. I can't tell you the last time that hasn't happened because people just love attacking me with lots of damage.
And that's what you want to do. You want to do the Alpha Strike where it's like, okay, this is the decisive thing. I'm getting in there, for the killing blow.
Yeah.
And then you cast Ink Shield.
And then they cast Ink Shield and ruin all your hopes and dreams, and then you get killed in the crackback. Because... like, getting 20 2/1 flyers, that's going to end the game.
It does, in fact, end the game. So, I tweeted about this card over the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Playing the Silver Quill deck 1v1 with Brima, it's not great because Brima doesn't do anything. So Aaron was kicking my butt with the Lorehold deck, playing some, those 9/9s that have everything.
Yep.
So Aaron made copies of it. And then I was at, like, 10 life or something. So Aaron swung with 18 power. I'm like, okay, no blocks. And she's like, okay, I guess I win. I'm like, okay, before damage, I cast Ink Shield. So I made 18 of these 2/1s, and then I untapped and killed her. This card is so stupid.
Yeah, I love this card. It's it's actually, the price is going up. It's been going up over the weekend.
Whoa, that's expensive.
Yeah. It's it was like pre-ordering for 5, and now it's like it's almost 12.
Yeah, this is better Arachnogenesis. For sure. You can also just skull clamp the tokens if you don't want to attack. Can't do that with Arachnogenesis.
Yeah. Yeah, I ordered one yesterday for I think $10, and now it's up to over 11. I don't see it going down. I think this one's going to keep going up.
Yeah.
Sadly.
If you happen to get the Silver Quill deck, okay, this happens every time we get new commander decks, right? There's at least one card that's like a Dockside Extortionist. Is this that card? I don't think so.
No. It's not.
But it's pretty good.
Yeah, not for 5 mana. It's not going to hit Dockside levels of price. If it was like 3 mana, yeah, you'd be looking at a very expensive card very quickly. But for 5 mana, I don't think it's going to be
played. Like,
yeah,
like maybe 5 years from now, like when somebody asks you, hey, do you remember C21? You say, oh yeah, that's the Ink Shield set. That's the type of like power this card's going to have.
Yeah. I can see this being played in pretty much any black-white deck that can afford to buy it.
And the art is gorgeous.
Art is great. Jarrell Threat. This card's good. Buy it now, I think, because I don't think this is going down.
Yeah, I don't know. I always like to wait if I don't get like every deck. Like this is the first year that I've gotten every single deck. I've never done it before. And every year that I don't get like one of the decks, I was like, man, I wish I bought that deck. So
yeah. I mean, I've been paying attention to the prices quite a bit for these, and from what I can tell, this is the only card that's going up right now. So for what that's worth, I don't know. I'm wrong a lot.
Yeah.
I'm wrong a lot, so don't buy anything because I tell you to.
I don't think you're wrong on this card though, Andy. This is like from personal experience, this card is nuts.
Hey, Lenny.
Hey, Lenny. I'm not allowed to buy all of them anymore. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, live vicariously through me.
Yeah.
Because my significant other will not yell at me.
Yeah. I only bought one deck this year, and then the rest I just bought singles. Save myself some money. Okay. Are we ready for your number 1?
Number one. All right, it's not as flashy as Ink Shield,
but it's you. It's a you
but
card.
It's the card I am most excited about. In fact, I might build a deck around it. It is Octavia Living Thesis. It's the blue Hogak, kind of. So it is an 8/8 for 10. Costs 8 less if you have 8 or more instant sorcerer cards in your graveyard. Has Ward 8. It's hexproof. It has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant sorcery spell, you make something an 8/8 until end of turn. Ah, Andy. This card is everything. So I recently took apart Blindseer, which was like that was the deck I was most known for because the deck just does dumb things.
Yeah.
And now I'm gonna rebuild it as Octavia with more dumb things.
Mm-hmm.
So, this turns your Edric deck into, now you can actually kill people with your Flying Men. This turns your ninjas into 8/8s. This turns your rogues into 8/8s. Like, it doesn't just go into, like, an Octavia deck. This is also really, really good in the 99. So I would say more about this card, Andy, but I think we can spoil what we're going to do with this card, right? Are you agreeing to this?
Sure.
I'm holding you to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we're doing deck decks, as you all may or may not know. Go check them out on YouTube. YouTube dot whatever. You didn't have our own URL yet?
We do.
Whatever. Just look up Scrap Trawlers on YouTube.
It's youtube.com/Scrap Trawlers. We are there.
See, we got enough people. People know who we are. We're doing deck decks. Our next one's going to be an Octavia. And I got to write the script, so you can tell me how bad of a job I did. But this card is super fun. You can make a super budget deck out of this. You can turn any of your like unblockable little salamander dudes into 8/8s, do a ton of damage. If you're looking for a win condition in mono blue, combat is not the first thing you think of. Octavia kind of turns that notion on its head, or its multiple arms, whatever you want to do. Oh, Andy, I love this card.
I know you do. I know. This is totally a U card. You got your sea monsters there. Yeah, I mean, as long as you're like cool with your commander not coming out for the first, 5 or 6 turns, which in a budget deck it won't. But I think if you're not playing budget, you could probably get it out a little bit earlier.
So you can turn 2 this, just so we're clear.
You can turn 2 this in a non-budget deck?
Yes.
Oh.
So, turn 1, you play your island.
As one does, yeah.
Yes. Okay, maybe not turn 2, but you have to find a way to cast Breakthrough. While also, like, I guess, turn 1, play a mountain, or an island.
A mountain? What?
play Breakthrough. Discard your whole hand.
I don't know what Breakthrough is. What is that? Is that one word or 2?
It is one word. It's played in some real format that's not easy. So you draw 4 cards, then choose and discard X cards, or choose X cards to keep, and then discard the rest. So you pay X is 0. So you just draw 4 cards and then discard your whole hand. Assuming you got lucky and have a bunch of instant sorceries,
I suppose,
you got 8 in the graveyard. On turn 2, you get lucky and top deck an island, and you cast your 8/8. That's X proof. I want to be risky and live the dream. I want to do it.
Okay, that was our top 10 cards that made us smile from Commander 2021.
My face muscles are worked.
Getting these lines from all the smiling.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you to everybody who came and hung out with us tonight. We really appreciate you sitting and listening to us talk about Commander 2021. What are your thoughts overall, Dick, on this set?
Well, I bought all 5 decks. I'm happy. No, the as I said in the beginning, these precons seem way stronger than what we've seen in previous years. I would go on record and say, out of the box, these are as strong as C 2013. Which is the Prosh precon and the Allura precon and the Revi precon. They don't seem like it until you play them. Like the cards are stupid. Mm-hmm. and the precons are like really well put together this time. So kudos to Wizards and the design team for that.
Yeah, I think we had a few years. I'm actually pretty new to Commander, but I can tell, based on looking at the old decks, that there were a few years where, there were some powerful commanders and a few like format staples in there as well that were really strong. But trying to play the deck out of the box was not very, good because there's just trying to do too much in a deck. But I think they've really reeled that in the last couple years, and everything kind of flows thematically with the commanders that are available in the box. And I think they've improved on that even more this year over last year. So the mana bases are still crap. But
we got temples this time. And not Temple of the False God. I mean the temples. I know people are sick about the temples, but they're probably my favorite budget land. Like, keep them coming.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine for us budget players, but I feel like each deck could have, like, one, powerhouse dual land in it. Right? Why can't it?
Yeah.
Why can't we have a shock in each one of these?
Because Wizards wants to sell secret layers.
Well, why couldn't they have a snarl in each one of these?
Because they want to sell the standard set. The snarls aren't even that expensive.
No, they're not. The snarls are super cheap right now.
They're like $2.
Yeah, because they're not that great. I mean, they're okay, but they're not like a shock.
Lenny's right. They put them in the brawl decks.
They did, which proved that they can put them in precons and not end the world. So why can't they do them in the commander decks? Because those aren't in standard. I think a lot of people would be really happy if they just one shock in each commander deck. Do you know how much complaining would go away?
I mean,
I just don't realize. I don't
think they're necessary.
All right.
Well, the reason is because shocks don't really do anything unless you can fetch them up.
Yeah.
Like, if you're playing Farseek, cool, shocks are a little bit better than normal, but if you don't have Farseek and if you don't have actual fetch lands, which are another problem, they don't do much. Everything that you play for ramp, like Cultivate and Konami's Reach and Search, is for a basic land.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I complained enough about this last year that I don't need to do it again this year, but the mana bases they don't need to be this cheap, and we don't need to have that many lands that enter tapped.
Right.
Alright, that's all I gotta say. The Battle Bond lands. Yeah, the Battle Bond
that would
lands
be a good choice. They are multiplayer.
Yeah, they're multiplayer lands.
Why wouldn't you throw them in here?
There's no
That's
reason
a free
not
one,
to.
Wizards.
There's no reason not to, except they want to sell other stuff and not these. I don't know. I can't figure it out. It makes no sense to me. Why they can't just throw us a bone and give us like one good dual land that doesn't enter tapped.
You don't like the college campus lands?
The campus lands. I mean, they're better than guild gates, but that's all I can say about them. Unless you're playing a gate deck, which.
What you're playing a campus deck?
So, all right. Yeah, so I'm pretty high on the C21 set, aside from the mana base, of course. Reprints are really good. We had some pretty valuable reprints. Hellkite Tyrant. Wow.
That card should not be that expensive.
Yeah. Alhamrat's Archive.
Yeah, that and the Venser's Journal. I didn't realize that was $8.
I didn't either. That's not an $8 card. I don't think.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so a few really good reprints in there as well. So, I mean, it's still mostly bulk, but there's a few choice cards in there, and a lot of the new cards are really good. So I'm happy with this set.
Me too.
Okay, everybody, we're gonna raid Unicorn Fluff here in a minute. So, just want to say thank you for joining us tonight. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. Remember, Black Lives Matter. Trans rights are human rights. Good night, everybody.
Good night.